Hello students. So let us start the second chapter, that is the revision class for the second chapter, engineering ethics, and the name of the subject is professional ethics and Indian constitution. So the maximum hours allocated for this chapter is 9 hours, and the maximum marks you are going to get from this chapter is 25 marks, and this subject is there for the 4 semester, electronics and communication and electronic instrumentation and control engineering. So myself Vijay Hugi, lecturer in electronics and communication engineering department, SJP and Trust Polytechnic, Nitsoshi. So as I told, the name of the chapter is engineering ethics. Basically, the engineering ethics is defined as the codes and the standards of conduct endorsed by engineering societies with respect to the particular set of beliefs, attitudes and habits displayed by the individual or group. And there are certain objectives of engineering ethics, like we have to understand the moral values which guide the engineering profession, or we have to resolve the moral issues in the engineering, or we have to justify the moral judgments in engineering. So now we will start with the question number one. So whatever the question answer we have discussed here, so they are from the question bank. So means after the chapter, so they are given a list of questions, and we have solved all the questions here with the marks and the number of times the question is repeated in the exam. So first question is, why do people behave unethically, or why, where and how do moral problems arise in a profession, and justify the safety and other applications of professional engineers. So this question may be asked for 5 marks, or it may be asked for 10 marks here. So it is essential to know why and how do moral issues in the sense problems arise in a profession, or why do people behave unethically. So these are two questions we have to think before answering this question. So there are three types of reasons for people, including both employees and employer, for behaving unethically. So those three reasons are: first one is resource crunch, second one is opportunity, and third one is attitude. So now we are going to discuss one by one what all these are. So resource crunch means what? Due to pressure from the political leaders, due to time limits, then availability of budgets or technology delay, or pressure from the government to complete the project in time. So that is, they will say, so before the election itself you have to do the work, or reduction in budget due to war or natural calamity, for example earthquake, and unsafe or unethical completion of projects. So so allowing everyone to involve in development of goals, values and policies will prevent the unethical results. And next one is opportunity. So that is double standards or behavior of the employers towards the employees and the public. Second one is projecting their own interest by the employer more than that of their employees. So third one is giving more importance to the results and gains at the expense of the employees. And fourth one is management by objectives without focus on empowerment and improvement of the infrastructure. So the above problems we can resolve by effective leadership who can work confidentially with the people and building cooperation, so coordination and allowing everyone to involve in every work, and motivating through appraisal. So third one is attitude. So that is the poor attitude of the employees. It is due to what? So many reasons. First one is low moral of employees by the dissatisfaction and downsizing. Second, lack of promotion or career development policies. Third one, lack of transparency. Fourth one, lack of recognition and reward system. And last one is poor working environment. So these are what the poor attitude of the employees, they are due to these reasons here. That is, poor working environment means the place where he is working, it is not safe, it is not hygienic, and it is not secured one. So we say it is what poor working environment. And a lack of recognition and reward system, in the sense what, if employees has done something good for the company or for the organization, so it is the duty of the employer or the boss to recognize him, or he has to reward him. And lack of transparency, transparency means there are certain employers, they give what, they have give more importance only for the certain employees, right? They do benefit only for certain employees, and there is no what, there is no transparency. And lack of promotion or career development policies. Right, sometimes in always in the public sector, it always happens that if you are in close with the employer or with the boss, right, you get easily promoted. And if the other person, even if he worked for certain number of years, right, he will not be promoted, that things will happen. So that is the reason here. And so next question is, define the term moral dilemma or explain moral dilemma. Or even they can ask, define the term dilemma. So first we are going to define what do you mean by moral dilemma, and this is the important question from the exam point of view, because this is asked two times in the semester end exam. So that is from the last 7-8 exam, this question has appeared two times, and it carries 5 marks. So now we are going to define what do you mean by a moral dilemma. So the situation in which moral reasons come into conflict, or the situation in which the applications of moral values are becoming problems and not possible to choose or find the solutions to the problems, are known as dilemma. So the exact meaning of this definition you will come to know in the example here, whatever the example I given. So the example says like this: a person promised to meet a friend for dinner, but he has to help his uncle who is involved in an accident. So that now he has to fix the priority, so that is the dilemma situation. So the example says what here? Suppose think you have made a promise to your friend, so that you are going to meet him on his birthday, right? You just imagine there is a birthday, your friend's birthday tomorrow, and what you do is you tell to your friend that you are going to meet him in the evening in the birthday party. So unfortunately, what will happen in the next day, so that is around the afternoon or in the evening time, your brother or your uncle, just example I am giving, your brother or your uncle has met with an accident. So now you have to go and you have to take care of your uncle or a brother who has met with an accident. But at the same time, your friend, one of your close friend, he has called for a birthday party. So you promised him that you are going to meet him in the evening, but at the same time your brother has met an accident. So now there is a situation here. So you have to decide, so right, what we have to do, you have to fix the priority. So what we can do is, you can call your friend and you can explain what has happened, okay, and you can request him that you are going to meet him some other day, and you can go to the hospital and you can treat your brother, so right, who has met an accident here. So such situations will come in everyone's life. Not only this situation, there are so many situations where we cannot able to make a decision easily. So right, we are in a situation where we cannot able to take a decision, proper decision. So that is what a dilemma, moral dilemma. So next question: list the situations when moral dilemmas arise, or explain the difficulties in solving moral problems. Again, this is important question. This has appeared 4 times in the exam, and it carries 5 marks. So the three situations leading to moral dilemma. So I'll repeat, the question may be asked like this: list the situations when moral dilemmas arise, or explain the difficulties in solving moral problems. So for both the question, the answer remains same. So here you have to remember the three situations the three names, that is the problem of vagueness, the problem of conflicting reasons, the problem of disagreement. So these three words or these three sentences, they are very important. So first you need to remember these three sentences and you have to explain one by one. So what is the meaning of all this? So the problem of vagueness is what? So one is unable to distinguish which is good and which is bad. So that is good means an action that is obligatory. For example, refuse bribe or accept the gift. Right, here you cannot judge easily that which is good or which is bad. Second, the problem of conflicting reasons. So here one is unable to choose between two good moral solutions. So here you may have two solutions, two good moral solutions, but you are in a position, you are not in a position to choose which one is a good one. So for example, one has to fix priority here through knowledge or value system. And next one is the problem of disagreement. So here there are many solutions for the problem, but these solution may be better or worse in some respect and not in all aspects. Okay, so next question is, list the steps in confronting moral dilemma. So basically this is a 5 marks question. So the answers are, first one, first step is identification of the moral factors and reasons, that is to identifying the relevant moral values from among duties, rights, goods and obligations. Second, collection of all information, data and facts relevant to the situation. Third one, rank the moral options, that is allotting the priority through value system, acceptable, non acceptable, etc. Fourth, generate alternate courses of action to solve dilemma. Fifth one, discuss with colleagues and get their opinions and suggestions on various alternatives. Sixth one, decide upon a final course of action. If there is no ideal solution, we arrive at partially satisfactory or satisfying solution. Next question is, explain the relation between autonomy and authority. So this is again a 5 marks question. So moral autonomy and respect for authority, they can coexist. They are not against each other. So if the authority of the engineer and the moral autonomy of the operator are in conflict, a compromising situation has been created through discussion and mutual understanding their limits. Next question is, state the 5 characteristics of professionals. So first one is professional language. So professional language in the sense what? Uh, the way, so basically if you are working in a place and you have to use professional languages. Second, separates personal and professional. So right, separates personal and professional in the sense what? If you are working in a place or working in the organization, you should not mix your personal information or personal things in the professional career, and once you go home, right, you should not discuss anything which is what professional thing. Then third one is positive attitude. So if you are a professional, so you need to have a positive attitude, and even the employers, they are looking at your positive attitude itself. So if you have the negative attitude, definitely that will have a wrong impression on the employer. Then emotional control, right, you have to control your emotions when you are in a working environment. Then effective time management. So effective time management in the sense what? You have to make use of the time properly. So it may be entering into the office at a correct time and leaving the office at a correct time, and whatever the work they are going to assign for you people, you have to manage the work within the given time. So within the stipulated time you have to do this. And next one is focused. Focus means whatever the task they are going to assign or whatever the project they are going to assign, you have to focus. Focus means you should not think anything else, and you have to focus it, and you try to finish the work in a time. Then respectful for others, so that is one of the important characteristics of a professional. So that is, we have to respect everyone, maybe your colleague or maybe your boss or any person, so who is what who is maybe lesser position one, right? If you have to respect everyone, then only you are going to get a respect. So that is one more characteristics. And you should have a strong communication. Strong communication means whatever the communication you are going to make with the employer or the higher authority, so that must be to the point, then accurate, then that must be true one. So these things you have to keep in mind. So for 5 months, just if you list the characters, that is more than enough here. And even if they ask for 10 months, and you try to explain what all these characteristics are. So now let us explain the term profession, professional, and professionalism. So almost all the three words look similar here, but there is what a slight difference between all these three terms. So profession uh, can be defined as it may be any occupation or job that requires skills and knowledge, self-regulation, and good service to the public. So it brings high status socially and economically. So it is what it is, any occupation or a job, that is what a profession. So if you are a teacher, or if you are a doctor, or if you are a lawyer, we call it as what, it is a profession. So right. So next we are going to define what is professional. So when a person does the work on profession which requires skills and knowledge, self-regulation, and results in the public, so the term professional means a person as well as a status. And third one is professionalism. Professionalism is a status of a professional. So this means that certain attitudes or typical qualities that are essential for a professional. So this question, maybe they can ask for 5 marks or 10 marks, and this is already repeated 3 times in the semester end exam. So it is important from the exam point of view. So next we are going to discuss the question, highlight the principle of pre-conventional level of moral development. So this question may be asked for 5 marks. So moral development in the human being occurs due to exposure and experience. So pre-conventional level, so there is the question they asked, highlight the principle of pre-conventional level of moral development. So we are going to discuss what do you mean by pre-conventional level. So in this level, right conduct for an individual is regarded as the most benefit. In this level, everyone is motivated by obedience or the desire to avoid the punishment or to satisfy their own needs. All young children exhibit this tendency. So next question is, what is moral integrity? Write on its significance. So again, this can be asked for 5 marks or 10 marks. So moral integrity is the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles. So moral uprightness, it is generally a personal choice to uphold oneself to consistent moral and ethical standards. So the significance of moral integrity are, first one, it is a virtue that lays the foundation for all other virtues and is therefore fundamental to all others. Second, it is regarded as the honesty and truthfulness or accuracy of one's actions. Third, it is adherence to moral and ethical principles, soundness of moral character, honesty, etc. Fourth one, it makes the people to be responsible citizenship. Fifth one, it makes the people to be good heartedness themselves. And next question is, List the skills required to handle moral problems, issues in engineering ethics. So this is a 5 marks question, and this is repeated 2 times in the exam. So the question is, what are the skills required to handle moral problems, issues in engineering ethics? So first one is moral courage. Second, proper execution of code of ethics. Third one, professional obligations. Fourth, skill of cognitive reframing. Fifth one, skill of self soothing. Sixth, skill of risk taking. Seventh, skill of risk tolerance. Eighth one, skill of risk aversion. Ninth, ability to observe what is happening from a moral perspective. Tenth, skill of developing the workplace ethics. So the next question is, uh, distinguish between casual responsibility, moral responsibility, and legal responsibility. So this is 5 marks or 10 marks question. So first we are going to discuss what do you mean by casual responsibility. So casual responsibility means being a cause of some event. For example, simple example I given here, a child playing with matches cause a house to burn. For this the child is casually responsible, but the parent who left the child with matches is morally responsible. So that this example illustrate the concept what the casual responsibility. And the second one is moral responsibility for professional. So moral responsibility means he should be responsible morally in creating internal good or bad results and eliminating or reducing the side effects from engineering and technology through obligations, accountability, and blameworthy. The third one is legal responsibility. So it is the responsibility required by the law. So it includes legal obligations and accountability to meet them. So next question is, describe the virtues fulfilled under the professional responsibility. So this question may be asked for 5 marks or 10 marks. So we have to discuss here what are the virtues fulfilled under the professional responsibility. So following are the virtues fulfilled under the professional responsibility. The first one is self-direction virtues. So honesty is a self-direction virtue. It includes self-understanding, proper assessment of one's character, and good moral judgment. Second, public spirited virtues. So these virtues they focus on good of the clients and the public. Mainly this includes respect for rights, not harming intentionally others. And third one is teamwork virtues. So mainly these includes collegiality, cooperativeness, communicative ability, and respect for legitimate authority. Fourth one, proficiency virtues. The proficiency virtue means mastery of technical skills. It includes competence, diligence, creativity, excellence, and self renewal through continuing education. Fifth one is cardinal virtues. So, wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice are some of the cardinal virtues. So next question is, define corporate responsibility. So this is 5 marks question. So just we have to define what is corporate responsibility. So it emphasizes the voluntary acceptance of a particular organization to particular codes of conduct. The groups of individuals in the organizations are assigned responsibilities through policy manuals and flowcharts. And next is define corporate accountability. Again, this is maybe asked for 5 marks. So it means holding all the corporate organizations accountable to the public, employees, customers, and stakeholders, and empowered by rules and laws. Thank you.